Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of At the Movies with William Fletcher. I am your host, as always, William Fletcher. And so, this is the second episode this week that you are getting. Because earlier this week I had an episode on the filmography of Mr. Edgar Wright, Ranked. And so now you get two episodes this week where I'll be discussing the films that I watched in the month of November. And yeah, I might as well just get right into it. So I've got, so there'll be like 3 more episodes this year, I think, because I am recording that it is the 1st of December currently, so there'll be 4 more episodes this year. There'll be, the next 4 weeks, and the final episode of this year will be a review of the year, so that's the 27th of December. So I will be discussing that. So basically, the next 3 weeks, the 6th, the 13th, and the 20th, will be just like regular style episodes, just talking about a film or films. And on the 27th will be the review of the year, so that will be me and a few other guests, and we will just be talking about some of the best films of the year, some of the worst ones too, maybe some television and stuff as well. Just talking about other, just looking at stuff from this year, and that will be the final episode of the year. And on that same week as well, on the Saturday is the 1st of January, so I'll have a What I Watched For You this month on that day. And then we'll just move on into the new year, and that's sort of going to be my plan for, however long I do this podcast. The final, Monday of every year, I will release for you a review of the year episode on the final week, the final Monday. So that is the plan, and so just the 3 sort of regular style episodes on the 6th, 13th, and the 20th, and then on the 27th, review of the year. But, that's in the future. So this is just me talking about the films that I watched this month. I got a few, let's just start. So the first film I watched this month was The Harder They Fall, which is a sort of cowboy film on Netflix where the cowboys are black, so they're played by some of the main ones: Lakeith Stanfield, Jonathan Majors, Delroy Lindo, Regina King, Idris Elba, and it was enjoyable. I will possibly touch on it in my review of the year. It wasn't like I was hoping for like a really, really good film, but I was kind of left like, it's a fine film that I have no problem watching, and I might watch it again, but it's definitely not something that I'm like, oh, this is one of the best films of the year, and it's not my top 10. It won't be in my top 10 of the year. So I guess if that helps explain it, that the film, whilst good, is not going to be, for me anyway, in my end of year top 10. And honestly, at this point, I think I've kind of seen most of this stuff that we'll get in. There's a few like upcoming releases: Licorice Pizza, Spider-Man No Way Home, House of Gucci, possibly, and a few other films that could get into my top 10 of the year. But I think for now, the top, 2 to 3 films are kind of set at the moment. But this will be in my review of the year episode. So that it was a decent film, but it's just it's fine. Then I watched Shrek 1 and 2. I've planned to do a massive watch through of every nominee for Best Animated Picture, or Animated Feature, I guess, if you want to go that way. And I will watch through all of them, so I'll be talking about those, and that'll possibly be a list episode at some point, or I might just do like my top 10. So I watched Shrek 1 and 2. I hadn't seen them in years, and I did not rewatch Shrek 3, and I haven't seen Shrek 4, so I'll watch those possibly this month, and then I'll have like a full sort of ranking of the Shrek films. So yeah, Shrek is good, and Shrek 2 is better. I kind of feel like I don't really need to say much about these films because like it's just it's Shrek. Is that it's those films that like at a sort of point are like because everybody knows Shrek, everyone's probably seen Shrek. There's no real point in sort of discussing it in any major way because I've seen it already, so it's not like a big deal because it's I don't really need to discuss it because it's Shrek 1 and 2, so I don't think I need to discuss it. Then I rewatched Skyfall in anticipation of No Time to Die. I had planned to rewatch Spectre. That didn't happen. So unfortunately, I don't have thoughts on Spectre because I just couldn't. I thought I had it somewhere to rewatch, and I unfortunately didn't. So I missed out on that. So yeah, but Skyfall is probably the best Bond film. All I could understand. I would totally understand if someone said it might like objectively it might be the best one, but I still think I prefer Casino Royale, like just a little bit more. Personally, I think that the film is like it's a it's really good. It's definitely like the best Bond film. I mean, it's definitely one of the best Bond films, and it might be like the best one. I just think Casino Royale has more sort of personal things in it that I like, but still a really really great film. And I mean, if you haven't seen it, if you haven't seen any Bond film, I mean the Craig ones are pretty good. Like those are the if I was throwing my Bond to anyone, I mean it sort of depends, but I kind of feel that the Craig films are like the best ones to start with. But you can watch them however you want. Really, there's no real sort of chronology beyond the Craig. The Daniel Craig ones have got a chronology to them, but I've read the Bond film. You can just watch however you want. But yeah, Skyfall, really great cinematography. Especially, I really noticed how well it was shot, and I also think it has one of the best Bond villains in Le Chiffre. And yeah, it's just really good. It's a really good film. Speaking of really good films, The Umbrellas of Cherbourg. Cherbourg. There's so many things I can say about it, but I feel like this is a film I will have to do on the podcast at some point because it's I can't even do it justice by talking about it. I really can't. There's nothing that I can say about it that will genuinely there's so much that I can say that doesn't even do half of the film justice. Just watch it, find it. It's an hour and a half. Watch it, and you will cry. And if you don't, there is something wrong with you, because it is that good. It's genuinely a film that made me cry in a way that no other film has done. Like I don't cry often in films, but when I do, it's not good. But this one hit me so much differently, because usually if I cry in a movie, it's like during it. But this film, the ending is one of perhaps the best film ending ever. Genuinely. And so the film, it ends, and I was like, okay, I was getting like teary-eyed throughout it, and then the ending, and I just sort of sat in sort of, like, just sort of thinking about it, and I felt, and I was just like lying on the ground in my house, just bawling my eyes out for a good 5 minutes, because it's just that amazing. I really, this is a film that I want to do on this podcast at some point, because it's outstanding, and I know, and I don't, and I think it is, and it's sort of a, not obscure per se, but it's not like it like well, it's a French film, but it's not like it's not like one of the biggest French films ever. But it's definitely a film that I will absolutely have to cover on this show at some point, because of how amazing it is, and it's one of my new all-time favorite films. Now let's move on to something far less emotional and sad. Wreck-It Ralph 1 and, Wreck-It Ralph and Ralph Breaks the Internet. I watched both of these because, no one had the best animated picture. Wreck-It Ralph is a good movie. I still think it's pretty good. Ralph Breaks the Internet is kinda shit, though. I went in and I was like, okay, I knew there's some people who like this and some people who hate this as a divisive film. But I watched it and I was like, man, this is actually really crap. And it sucks too, because like the first Wreck-It Ralph is genuinely a really, really good film. Like it's genuinely, Wreck-It Ralph is a lot of fun, and I do think like when it goes for like emotional beats, it just like nails them. Honestly, it's insane of like how good it is. But I was thoroughly disappointed with Ralph Breaks the Internet. Thought it was just atrocious. No, okay, it wasn't atrocious. Sorry. It wasn't like the worst film I've ever seen, but it's not like a film I'm gonna go back to and watch again, because it's, unless I do like a big watch of like all of Disney's films, because it's just trash, which is disappointing. I don't like it. I really do love the first one though. So yeah. Then I watched The Eyes of Tammy Faye, which is, for those who don't know, this is a new release. It's about, Tammy Faye, a televangelist, and her husband as well, I guess, to an extent, and just sort of the lives they lived, and sort of the lies they lived as well, and how they just sort of, were bad people who did bad things to poor people, because they are... I mean, I don't think it's controversial to say that televangelists are some of the worst people. People lying about something to, for those who might, basically televangelists are Christians, or at least people who claim to be Christians who, they basically say, if you give us money, we will, that will help sort of give, it's like seed, I believe it's like seed faith or something like that, which essentially is, you pay them money, and then in return, their harvest will grow, metaphorically, and like God will help them. So instead of going to a doctor to deal with your cancer, you give them money, and that will help you instead. And they're just awful people. That's not just my opinion either. Like, that is a genuine fact that, like, if you try to justify televangelists, I don't know why, because they are bad people who do bad things to poor people. But this film is a really good. Possibly in my top 10 of the year. I don't actually know. There is a chance it might not get in my top 10. if I see a few more things and that pushes out, but we don't know. I don't know yet. But it's sorry. But yeah, Jessica Chastain, one of the best performances of the year, should probably win the Oscar. Although I am planning on seeing Spencer soon, which is about Princess Diana, and that's Oscar bait if I've ever seen it. So I will watch that sometime this week maybe, and that'll probably be in my what I watch this month December edition. But at this point, until I see otherwise, Jessica Chastain should probably win the Oscar for Best Actress. And yeah, it's just, Andrew Garfield is also really good in it. He's not going to get Oscar nominated for this, which is disappointing because he's quite good in it. But yeah, and I mean, it's really held up by the two lead performances of Jessica Chastain and Andrew Garfield. Other than that, just kind of, you know, whatever. So, yeah, then I rewatched Kung Fu Panda also for a watch through of all the best animated feature nominees. And I mean, it's Kung Fu Panda. Do I really need to say much more? Possibly. I mean, I don't think I need to though, because it's Kung Fu Panda, and everybody likes it. You know, I don't know anyone who dislikes Kung Fu. Sorry. I do not know anyone who dislikes Kung Fu Panda, because it's a pretty hard film to hate. It's a lot of fun, really cute, got some really great... It's got some really great philosophical elements to it as well, that, you know, some... that, you know, like, a lot of kid films don't have, which is, you know, a good thing, that a film is sort of is sort of, you know, sort of giving stuff for, you know, to people who haven't necessarily seen it. Sorry. Sorry that I'm yawning a bit. I'm just, you know, I'm very tired, but, you know, yeah, sorry. But, you know, I'm sure you guys don't mind. And, yeah. It's just really good. Then I watched Alan Partridge Alpha Papa, which is I recently, was it last month or this month? I watched seasons 1 and 2 of I'm Alan Partridge, which is one of my new all-time favorite shows. If you are not aware of Alan Partridge, he's a character created by Steve Coogan, and he's basically like a radio show host, essentially. That's more or less what he is. But he's, you know, not good at it. Well, not that he's not good at it, he's just, you know, it's just sort of the comedy comes from him sort of like... it's hard to explain, but basically, find I'm Alan Partridge and watch that. And if you like that, you'll probably like Alan Partridge Alpha Papa. It's an incredibly funny film. It's an hour and a half, so like it doesn't overstay its welcome, which is good because I hate when like a comedy film especially goes too long and like is like longer than it needs to be, because it doesn't need to be that long. A comedy, you know, should only realistically be, you know, an hour and a half, hour 40 at most. Like, I hate comedies that go over 2 hours because it's like, you don't need... Like, I'm trying to think of, like, Superbad is a relatively long comedy, and sort of, like, I mean, it's like an hour 50, but I think Superbad works. I keep bringing up Superbad. Just go listen to my episode on it, honestly. It was, like, the second one I did. Just listen to it. And that'll pretty much give you my full thoughts of the film. But Alan Partridge Alpha Papa is really good. And just watch Alan Partridge stuff, I guess. I think I'm Alan Partridge is the best place to start with, and if you like that, just go watch all his other stuff, because you'll probably like it. Then I watched, finally, No Time to Die. Film came out in September in the UK, October in the States, and now it came out in November in Australia. And I really loved it. for sure be in my top 10 of the year. So I will discuss it then. But it's really good. That's pretty much it. It's just a good film. Then I rewatched Avengers: Age of Ultron, Infinity War, and Endgame. Because I rewatched Avengers last month, the first Avengers last month. And I said to rewatch these because they're the Avengers films. And Age of Ultron got better. Infinity War got better. Endgame stayed the same. Age of Ultron and Infinity War were bumped up a score, and Endgame stayed the same. So, Age of Ultron, I think the hate for it is very undue. It's actually not too bad. I think people need to just chill, because it's really not the worst MCU film. Infinity War is the best MCU film. For years, I've had Winter Soldier as my favourite. That has now changed to Infinity War, which I stand by as being the best of the MCU. And Endgame is still a really good film. Well, it's a good film that's helped considerably by the hype and the build-up and the anticipation and all that. But still, all three really good. My ranking, has not changed for them. It still is Age of Ultron's the weakest, then Endgame, then the first Avengers, then Infinity War. And that's just it. That's just the full ranking. And I don't really need to discuss more. I did a full list. I did a 2-parter discussing my full ranking of the MCU. So go listen to that. And yeah, just go listen to that. I'll just have my full opinions, because my opinions haven't really changed too much beyond my ratings. Then I watched King Richard, which when I heard the title, I just sort of assumed, it's like a period piece. It's not that. It's about Richard Williams, the father of Serena and Venus Williams, who I was unaware Serena had a sister. And it's essentially about him being like their sort of inspiration and their tennis coach. And I feel like it will probably be in my top 10 of the year. Like, some of these I'm like, I probably will have in my top 10 of the year, because that's just sort of how it is. It was really good. Will Smith, my second favourite performance of the year. Jessica Chastain, third. Sorry. My top 3 performances: Jessica Chastain in The Eyes of Tammy Faye, Will Smith in King Richard, and I will talk about my current favourite performance in the next film. But yeah, it's a really good film. Probably gonna get nominated for Best Picture, which is, fair enough. It's a pretty good film, and it's just a lot of. It's just good. It's just a good movie, and you should all go watch it right now. It should, I believe, I don't know if it still is, but I think it's actually no. It should be. It's on if you're in the States. It should be on HBO Max, and it's probably showing in a theater somewhere. So go watch it, because it's good. Then Tick Tick Boom was the next film I watched, and this film I'm positive will be in my top 10 of the year. And my favourite performance of the year so far, Andrew Garfield. A really good film that I don't want to discuss too much, because I'm going to talk about it in my review of the year, because it will be in my top 10 at the end of this year. But just surprisingly really good, and I went in very skeptical, because it's Lin-Manuel Miranda, who I'm not like the biggest fan of. I think his songs in Moana. I would say his Moana stuff, his songs in Moana are really, really good. Some of the best Disney songs. But I have started watching Hamilton, and I don't really care for it. And yeah, I don't really care for his... I I haven't really cared about Hamilton. I will finish watching Hamilton. I've spent so long trying to watch it, and I watched like 20 minutes and then I just stopped. But Tick Tick Boom, really good. Now on to one of the worst films of the year, Dear Evan Hansen. I feel like this film has been talked about a lot. It's crap. That's pretty much it. There's a lot. I mean, like, I will probably talk about it in my review of the year because it's a crap film. Like, it's not good. I would, in fact, argue it's pretty trash. And it's not the worst film of the year, but it's certainly one of the worst films of the year. Then I watched The Power of the Dog, and some of you may be asking, how did I say that? Isn't that on Netflix, like today or whatever? I actually went to a cinema to see it because it was getting a lot of hype. A lot of people were talking about how good it is, and I thought, you know what? Everyone's talking about how great this film is. I might as well see it. It's going to get Best Picture nominated, and I might as well see it now, since I've got a chance to. And I quite liked it. Benedict Cumberbatch was really good in it. One of the best lead performances of the year. Cody Smith-McPhee was a good supporting performance. Probably should be Oscar nominated, but I don't know if he will. I mean, the rest of the supporting cast were fine. They were just fine. It was a good film, and again, it might be in my top 10 of the year. Possibly, there is a chance it gets booted out due to other stuff, but you know, we'll see. And I'll probably discuss it in my end of the year anyway. Then, after that, my 200th film of the year, by the way, I watched Citizen Kane for the first time. I have never seen Citizen Kane before until now. And I mean, it's a masterpiece, isn't it? I went in very skeptical and optimistic about it. I was like, I went in thinking, is this going to be one of those films where, like, I watch it and everyone talks about how great it is, but I don't get it. Like The Godfather, I don't get the love people have for The Godfather. It's not, like, bad or anything. It's just like, it's not as good as everyone says it is, and I think it's really weird. But thankfully, I was proven wrong. Citizen Kane is an outstanding film. Like, and deserves its name as one of the greatest films ever made, because it is. It's outstanding. It's just amazing. I mean, I would give my thoughts on it, but it's kind of like, do I need to? Like, it's Citizen fucking Kane. It's one of the biggest and most important films ever made that helped revolutionize certain aspects of filmmaking. It's talked about by like so many people. It's one of like the highest rated films in places like IMDb and Letterboxd and the AFI and you know, a lot of people talk about it as the greatest film ever made, and it is great. And I don't really think there's much more I need to say about it because it's Citizen Kane, and yeah, it's just really good. If you have not seen it, like myself, just watch it and find it, and I don't see why you wouldn't like it. Then I watched the final two films I discussed earlier this week: A Fistful of Fingers and the Sparks Brothers documentary, both of which I watched just for the sake of having an opinion on them for the for the Edgar Wright films ranked. I gave my opinions on them there. Fistful of Fingers, I mean, they're not bad. Fistful of Fingers is a decent film, and yeah, like, it's a decent film for what it is. And Spark Brothers documentary is a pretty decent documentary on a music group that I knew nothing about, but now that I know about, I want to listen to some of their music because it's really good music. And yeah, that's it. That's it for this episode of what I watched this month. Thank you all for listening to this episode, and I'll be So 3 more regular episodes for the next 3 weeks, and then on the 27th, the final Monday of the year, my review of the year episode will be out to you. And check out the Instagram, Facebook, the website. Feel free to email me at the movie. I believe it should be on the website as well. So like any contact information, any way. If you wish to contact me, I've got it all on the website. So it'll all be there. Look at, and so all the back catalogue of episodes are on there. My personal list of my 100 favorite films that can give you an idea of my taste as well as potential episodes into the future. And yeah, that's pretty much it. So thank you all for listening to this episode, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye.